Hello everyone and welcome to another Minecraft Redstone tutorial. My name is Glitch. Today we are looking at making an early game automatic pumpkin and melon farm for you to use in your survival world. Recently I have spent a lot of time looking at how redstone can be used early game and without having to travel to the nether for quartz. Now partially that's just because it's where we are at this stage of the game in this particular world. But also, in my survival series, I'm wanting to travel to the nether, but limit the amount of chunks that I load so that I can preserve a little of the past while preparing for the future. It's been a fun challenge, but a viewer pointed out that they were avoiding the nether entirely so that they could go to it fresh when the update drops later this year. So with that in mind, I've decided to keep going with these builds and see just what is possible with early game redstone. So, quick shout out to Sabiosaurus101 for suggesting this build. I started a playlist of these videos, and if you can think of any other farms and contraptions to add to the collection, drop a comment below and I will give it a go. Now, pumpkins and melons are often a good source of emeralds. Pumpkins are usually an apprentice level or tier 2 trade for the farmer. Melons take a little bit more because they are a journeyman trade or tier 3. And if you have more than one farmer in a village, you can make a decent amount of cash. Pumpkins are also a good, cheap, albeit somewhat ugly, light source that can be used underwater. So the idea for the farm came from the fact that I noticed in my little pumpkin patch here at the Cleft 2.0, this little pumpkin patch produced a lot of pumpkins in a short amount of time. And that is because in Minecraft, any crop that is grown in a row gets a boost to its growth speed. So basically the farm uses this principle. There are 2 rows of pumpkins growing under pistons and a bud switch in the back. When a pumpkin grows in front of the bud switch, the pistons fire, the pumpkins break, and then are collected by our hopper minecart and deposited down into the chest. Now at this point, I'm only producing pumpkins because at this particular point in the game, I just haven't found melon seeds in this world. They can be swapped out later on. Now the stairs are up top to keep the pumpkins from flying out, and they need to be some form of transparent block. According to the Minecraft wiki, the stalk of the pumpkin or melon must have a certain light level above it, so it has to be something that will allow the light through it. And just as an experiment, I place these dirt blocks above these pumpkin stalks, and in the entire time that I was building this farm and setting everything up, not a single pumpkin grew from these 4 stalks. Meanwhile, these repeatedly pumped out a crop. Now, before you go to set up this farm, you may want to plan a little bit of a mining session. Because as early game farms go, this one is a touch on the expensive side. You'll need about a half a stack of iron ingots for the hoppers, the rail, the pistons, and the minecart, and you'll also need 6 gold ingots for the powered rail. But all that being said, let's hop over to a creative world and dive into the build. For this build, you will need the following supplies. Roughly a stack and a half of structure blocks, roughly a stack of glass, 1 slab, 12 stairs, 20 dirt blocks, 2 jack-o'-lanterns, 2 chests, 1 hopper, 30 rail, 6 powered rail, 1 minecart with hopper, 6 levers, 10 pistons, 1 redstone torch, some redstone dust, a hoe, a water bucket, and you will of course need your pumpkin or melon seeds. You will also need an 8x8 area for the farm, and the build is 6 blocks tall, and there will be a 1 block channel under the center so the power rail can be activated. So to start things off, you want to build a 1 block tall platform over the entire area of the farm. Then break out the 2 blocks in the front center and then break 1 more block out to leave a space for your hopper. Go ahead and place down your double chest, come on top, and we're going to come behind and crouch place our hopper into that. Now, in survival, you may also want to have a couple of jack-o'-lanterns handy, and this is just simply to light up the interior, the inside of the farm, and basically, hopefully, avoid having this turn into an unintentional spider farm. Now, that being said, next up, take out a piece of rail and crouch place it across your hopper, and then place another piece beside it, and then you want to bring your rail around the corner and then place down your first piece of powered rail. Then you want to come back, and then to make the corner, what you need to do is place down your powered rail, another piece of rail, and then wrap it around the corner like that, and you're just going to repeat this pattern for the rest of the build. The reason you're doing this is just to avoid having your rail loop around on itself. But you want to go with this kind of zigzag formation over the build, and this will allow us to power our rail here in a few moments. Come back up here. Go ahead and bring that one over there. Now let's go ahead and there. Then there. And you want to make sure that your last piece of rail is heading back towards the front of your farm. This will allow you to loop back around and complete the build. Let's go up above it. So you should end up with this pattern looking like this. Once you've got the rail in place, you want to come back down to the side of your farm. Now I've gone ahead and dug out a channel underneath, but underneath the block where you have your powered rail, you're going to want to dig a channel 2 blocks tall so that you can walk under it. And then all we're going to do is skip the first block, because in our farm we need to have a 1 block gap the entire way around. But we're going to skip this first block and then place down a lever, turn it on, place down a lever, turn it on, and then repeat this for all 6 pieces of our powered rail. Come out, and now our powered rail is powered. And then what I would recommend doing is just go ahead and place down some dirt blocks under here if you'd like, or you can close this off. You won't be needing to go back down there again. Next up, take out your structure blocks, and you're going to place structure blocks above your rail. 5. Running along the back, on the sides of your farm. And then you're going to want to place your dirt blocks on the inside of those. Oops, one too many. Then come to the back of your farm, and you're going to place structure blocks 4 blocks high on the last block of your farm. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you're going to place 1 more block on the base of those, and then take out your pistons, and you're going to place them facing downward, running to the front of the build. 10. This should have them even with our dirt blocks, and then we just need to place in the rest of our dirt. And this should leave us with a 1 block gap between the pistons and the dirt. Then you just want to take structure blocks and cover over the front of your dirt and also run back, fill in the back here. Oh, a little too far away. So now the dirt should be completely encased in the structure blocks. Next up, you want to decide where you're going to place your redstone torch. For this tutorial, I'm going to place it on this block here. So come to the other side, and this will be easier if we place a structure block down here for a moment. On the block next to where you're going to place your redstone torch, break out the structure block, and then place a bottom half slab in that gap. And then hold shift and crouch place your bucket of water onto the slab. Now what this does is it makes it so that even though the bottom half slab is a transparent block and also is now waterlogged, the water will stay on the slab. It will not flow down and break our rail system. Let's come up here, and now we're ready to go ahead and add in the seeds. So you want to go ahead and till your ground. And let's put the pumpkins on this side. And then before you place in fertilizer, use bone meal, I would recommend placing down glass. The reason you want to place down some form of block on the outside is this invalidates this space for the pumpkins to grow, and therefore they can only grow under the piston. Let's go ahead and bone meal those to grow them up a little bit. Okay. And then come to the other side, and you're going to repeat the same thing there. Till. Add in your seeds. Wait, no, we did, we'll add the pumpkins over here. Then just add in your glass. And then just bone meal them to get them going. Now I did find through testing that the 10 blocks of crop seems to be about the limit because of the fact that our water source will only hydrate the crops out so far. So for this farm, this is about the limit you go without adding another source of water. Next up, go ahead and take out your stairs. Let's go ahead and place them in over our stalks. The other side. And repeat. And then if you want to, you can add a couple of blocks up here. That honestly is mostly for decoration. And now, that is the farm all set up. Now we just need to wire in the redstone. So to trigger our piston line, we're going to use a bud switch. Now I've discussed these in many other of my early game redstone videos, and you can check out those videos for more details, but in case this is your first video that you're watching on the subject, here's a quick review. A bud switch or block update detector gives out a signal whenever the circuit is updated. There are a lot of ways that you can build them. However, the one that I use the most is the redstone torch burnout clock because it works in both versions of the game. Simply put, a redstone torch burnout clock works by having redstone dust on the top of a block, and then a redstone torch is placed on the side of the block. The two interact and in essence burn out. But while they're there, any block that is placed beside the torch will give out a signal which you can use to power something. And because a pumpkin and a melon are considered full blocks, we can use them to power our system and harvest our crops. So to wire up the redstone, start out by placing a line of structure blocks on top of all 10 of our pistons. And then we're going to come to the back. We need to break out these 2 blocks, and then we're going to run redstone dust over top of all of the blocks and run them down to there. And then we're going to need to break out our glass here for just a moment. And then, just for simplicity's sake, we're going to break out this pumpkin. And then what we want to do is, we're going to go ahead and place down our torch here. And that breaks out all the pumpkins because our piston's fired. And you will, unfortunately, occasionally have some slip through the glass. I've tried to find ways around this, but thus far, nothing's been successful, including trying placing slabs on top here. But once you do that, just go ahead and place your glass in. And that, believe it or not, is the redstone all wired up. And now all we have to do is come down to the bottom, and we want to break out a couple of blocks under our glass. This will just give you space so you can come in, place down your minecart with hopper, give it a little push. As soon as it hits the powered rail, it'll start going, and it will start collecting. And then you just simply need to enclose the system so that you can keep mobs like a spider or a baby zombie from wandering into the collection system and gumming up the works. And that is the farm all set up. And now we just simply need to wait for our next pumpkin to grow in front of the torch. And as soon as it does, the pistons will fire again, and we'll start collecting our pumpkins and melons if I had remembered to put them in there. But we'll start collecting them, and you'll be well on your way to a steady cash crop in your Minecraft world. Pumpkins and melons are a good cash crop within the game of Minecraft, as well as a renewable source of food and lighting if needed. They also have the advantage that you can farm them automatically. Now, while early game redstone often comes with the potential for loss, this farm should give you a steady supply of the crops you need. I hope you find it useful as you start exploring your worlds. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, and also consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. My name is Glitch, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.